Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
No, I think it was maybe, I don't know,
So
maybe the owner.
you want to order an automatic door bottom, and you've got some questions about that.
Right. There's a couple
Okay.
different kinds, and there was someone from your store that was very knowledgeable on YouTube, and I was hoping to talk to that person.
Sure. You've got them. My name is Richard.
All right. So here's my deal. So I'm trying to seal a basement door where I have soundproofed the basement for a home theater, and I bought an automatic door sweep kit, but the bottom piece, it just doesn't function well. Basically, it's like the others where there's a screw, and when it contacts the frame, it starts to push down the sweep, but it pushes it down on a very steep angle. So the part closest to the door frame, or like to the hinges, touches down on the floor first, but then the door still has to travel a few inches to close, so it starts to roll over on itself. And it never really generates enough pressure to actually like fully push the sweep down. And if you can lengthen the screw to create more pressure, but then it means that it hits the ground even sooner and rolls even more. And it's just like, and it also like pushes the inner sleeve out a little bit, and so I'd have to cut it again because it's contacting the frame on the other side. It just felt like a piece that wasn't quality. And I remembered one of the videos you were talking about, hey, some of these go down just like that, and some of them go down more like parallel to the floor, kind of all at once. And so I wanted to know which manufacturers produce that kind. Or if maybe I just kind of have a low quality version of the normal sort of angular drop kind. But that's my problem, and so I'm trying to find like a higher quality sweep that won't have that problem.
Everyone you install is going to have the problem, because the problem is not the door bottom or the perceived lack of quality. It's the unlevel floor.
The floor is actually perfectly level.
Then why are you having performance that is outside of how the thing was engineered? If the floor is level and the door's, true plumb level and square, and the automatic door bottom is level,
yeah,
it needs to drop hinge first and then knife down as you close the door the last few degrees.
Right. So, and that's what happens. So it comes down on a hardwood floor. There's like a runner carpet that the door has to clear as you open it. So it's mounted so that the drop is probably at the maximum of what it's designed for. It's not above that. But what happens is the first corner touches the ground, but then as you keep closing the door, it like kind of rolls over on itself. And, like as I was watching other videos on the internet, maybe that's how it's supposed to be. And so like kind of the hinge side is sort of rolled over, but the opposite side is, just sort of what you would expect, like resting on the ground normally.
The hinge side.
The style of the squeak of the neoprene, it's like a solid square kind of neoprene. It's not a hollow oval type neoprene, so maybe like it's just not sliding along the hardwood floor. It's like catching and then like rolling over on itself. Am I making sense there? And so maybe I need a different one with a different kind of a neoprene, like maybe the oval neoprene will just sort of slides along the hardwood floor in like a smoother way. But you have this twist in it, like the hinge side will be rotated 90 degrees, but I'll call it the jam side, will not be rotated at all. So you have this twist along the length of it, which it just didn't seem like it was supposed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're getting that material folding over, then it's dropping too far. You've got to back that bolt up.
Right. And when I
Each-
do that, it works better on the hinge side, but then the other side's not fully contacting the ground. It doesn't knife down all the way. Starts to, but it stops.
Yeah, so that does tell me there could be something suspect to the door bottom that you're installing, because, if the floor is level and everything else is true plumb level and square, then
It's a brand, like the floor's level, and it's a brand new door frame and door. It's all square. It just got installed, so it's not like I'm trying to.
Whose automatic door bottom do you have?
It was a kit. I bought it from I could get it for you, but a internet site that specializes in soundproofing. It was like a kit they offer. Looking at what you, now that I've looked at different types. Look, I bought one. It wasn't cheap, but it was one of the cheapest ones, because they can get expensive. The other three sides are fine, and they're adjustable, and it's great. It's just the bottom that I'd like to swap out.
Yeah, I only ask because I'd like to know whose automatic door bottom, what manufacturer's item is not operating correctly.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to try and find it.
So have you considered the idea of simply taking that automatic door bottom and removing a couple of screws and then installing it so it's not level? So you're compensating for its improper drop based on the fact that you're going to skew it up 1/8 of an inch or whatever is needed.
Yeah, so if I did that, it won't clear the carpet, because then what I would have to do is move the hinge side up, and then it would not be able to. It can only extend 3/4 of an inch, and then it would be an inch or inch and a half over the ground, and it wouldn't.
Yeah. Is this a rug or carpet?
I guess it's a rug. It's just a runner.
Okay. Yeah, so obviously an idea is a thinner runner. But what I would suggest is that you swap that unit out for a bristle type, so that you can compress that, so the bristle will fold over and tolerate being smushed down better than a piece of solid neoprene will. Now, in terms of STC rating, no. I mean, the reason you have that big neoprene is because you've ordered something that's likely STC rated and was probably not inexpensive at all. But your application, you want a deadened sound. You're not, obligated to hit a certain STC rating, I would think.
No, it's a home. I'm trying to make sure that when I watch movies in the basement, they don't wake the kids up. And the basement is got double sheet rocking. It's got the tongue on the horizontal spacers, and then I've got Roxul in the ceiling, and all that does and then there's no lights in the ceiling, so there's no holes in it. So it does a pretty good. The rest of the system is pretty good, and I want to. The door, is cut 3/4. It's like an inch above the ground, so there's quite a bit of space there. Well, maybe it's not an inch. It's 3/4. But that's it's like the weakest link. And so that's why I'm focused on it. I mean, I'm happy to spend, I think that suites are $150. I mean, I'd be happy to spend that to get a higher quality one, or one you think might work better.
I don't know that you are necessarily going to get a higher quality one.
Okay.
Without knowing what you've got. I think the concept of there's something wrong. Either the door bottom's wrong, or the door's wrong, or the floor's not level. Something's wrong. So going only off of what I've gleaned out of what you've said is swap out the insert for something that will tolerate getting crushed down a little bit prematurely.
Oh, you're saying pull the neoprene out and put a different type of piece of neoprene in?
I didn't say that, but using a different insert, meaning changing the door bottom. Now, having said that, you could contact that supplier and say, hey, you got anything else we'll slide in there? I expect the answer will be no.
Yeah. So bought Acoustical Solutions.
Yeah. You could consider trying to modify that neoprene as well on the edge where you're having the conflict. Maybe you can skim if it's solid. You might be able to do that.
Yeah, I think there's two other styles I've seen. One's like the hollow oval, which I think will compress and slide better, and then there's like one that's sort of like a half dome with a little piece coming off that's designed to compress. And those might just sort of do better in the space.
Yeah, I hear you. And I stock those. I can't tell you that it's going to solve the problem because this material is not meant to drag or fold over. It's just meant to push down and compress for the most part. But we sure do stock those oval style items.
Yeah. If so I'm on your site. What category are those grouped into? Door framing components?
No. Is it a surface mount that you have?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will give you a part number. So the one that you would look for is the part number 365 AA. Hit the space bar once and then enter the number 36.
So 365 alpha space 36.
Yeah, then hit enter.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. The other thing that I noticed is the kits that you were demonstrating in a couple of the videos, all of them had like the piece that protrudes and contacts the frame and is like the piece that you adjust and it pushes everything down. In the one I have, it's just kind of a screwed into like threaded plastic, which when I was looking at yours, it's more like there's a much more substantial like metal hex piece, and they just looked a little, it's hard just looking at something, but they just looked a little more substantial.
It's possible that it is.
So what? Yeah. So, and by the way, obviously, if you cut this, you own it. So I mean, this is like in budget. It looks like what I'm looking for. If I test it and I have a problem and I haven't modified it, can I return it?
No. If you install that thing, it's yours.
Okay. All right. And this is kind of works the same way. It kind of like knifes down, like the corner comes. Because I remember in one of the videos you said some of them come down more like a garage door, where it's like parallel to the ground the whole time.
Yep, there are models that do that. It's for a different application. It's for a sliding application where you need it to come down all at once. If you were to order that and install it, I suspect that it might actually work because you're saying that the lock side is coming down too much, forcing it to fold over. So if you are making it such that you get the door basically mostly closed before that occurs, then that may work.
What's the part number on that, just so I could take a look at it?
I've got to look it up. Let's see if I have something in here. Well, the bottom line is they make these for sliding units. So the part number is going to be something like this, except that it's modified for a slider, so that the way that it drops, you just call it out as a sliding unit, rather than it being inferred that's for a swinging unit.
And it would be made by Zero as well.
Could be, yeah. Other people will make a sliding unit as well.
Okay. Well,
Zero is the industry standard. It's the Cadillac.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, other people, there's another company that has a very good one as well. Pemco is good. National Guard has some. Reese has some stuff. But I like Zero. It's the one that You know, when you have true STC rated doors, they're equipping it with STC material, with Zero material.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the price seems reasonable, so I don't see why I wouldn't go with them. Okay. Well, I'll look for the sliding door equivalent. You guys have quite a selection, it seems. And is there? Do you happen to have a YouTube video of that demonstrates it?
Yeah, I mean, in the last 10 years, it's possible that I've done one on a sliding door, but
Yeah.
But just to reinforce the point, when you order a door bottom like this, all you have to do is indicate sliding. We're going to be able to supply you with a unit that will drop down evenly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, having said that, there is a solution for the problem, and this is only an academic discussion, but they do make motors that get installed behind the frame, and then you have a door position switch so that when the door is in the closed position, it will then activate the motor, and a solenoid will come out and push that drop button down in, and then will only seal it when the door is in the closed position. So we don't care about that last 5-10 degree of close because it don't matter. Yeah. And that's a slick way to do it. Big money, big money. It's crypto money. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have to have a battery and charge it.
Yeah. Well, you got to have power running to it. It gets installed behind the frame in the wall. Extremely cool. I don't recall the last time I sold that system, but because weather stripping is an afterthought. No one thinks about it first before you think of the door. Right. No one's thinking about the automatic door bottom. Right. But the industry has an answer for your problem. Is I guess what I'm saying.
I have power right there, but I don't want to have to open up the wall. It would be better to solve it passively. All right.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that because there are things that I'm working towards credentialization within my industry. And there are 3 things in life that I'm trying to accomplish. A patent is one of them, and I'll just tell you, my patent will be a unit that will not require, it will have a tiny solenoid built in and a door position switch. It's exactly this. It's an automatic door bottom that sidesteps whether the floor is level or not, or the rug is this or that. When the door is closed, it drops without requiring so much work. It can be done as long as you got power at the opening, it'll be able to handle it.
Yeah. Well, cool. So yeah, I think I'll either get that Zero product you just mentioned, or I'll just look at how the sliding ones work and make sure that it'll work in my application. But one of those 2 I'll order, and I guess I just order it through the website. That's the easiest way to do it.
Or on the telephone. It comes, however. Once you make a decision, feel free to call.
Okay. Well, look, I appreciate your help.
Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Very helpful. All right, you too.
Bye. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.